Beloved soul, you are here in this moment not by accident, but by a tender arrangement of heaven itself. Even before you pressed play, God had already whispered to your spirit, "It's time to hear the truth you've been waiting for." They left, perhaps suddenly, perhaps slowly, fading away in pieces until their presence was gone. The silence they left behind was louder than any noise, and the ache in your heart was like a weight only God could measure. You may have told yourself, "This is the end. This is the closing chapter of a story I thought would last forever." But heaven is here to say, the author of your story is not finished writing. Beloved, when God calls someone home, it is not always a call to a place. Sometimes it is a call to a person. Sometimes it is a call back to the heart that love never truly left. They may have walked away, but God's hand never left their shoulder, even as they wandered, even as they sought other paths, even as they convinced themselves they could live without what you carried. The Spirit of God was quietly, persistently guiding them. There's a timing in heaven that defies the clock on your wall. And while you have been healing, growing, and learning to trust again, God has been weaving unseen threads back toward you. I know you have asked the questions in the night. Lord, why did you let them leave? Why did you not stop them when you knew my heart would break? And the gentle answer of heaven is this: because sometimes the leaving is part of the coming back. When a heart is not ready to love with truth, God, in His mercy, allows them to go. Not to destroy what was, but to prepare what will be. Beloved, it was not rejection, it was redirection. It was refinement. It was God's way of removing every false layer, so that when they returned, they would come as who they were always meant to be. And they are returning. Not because of your striving, not because of your pleading, but because the one who spoke the stars into place has spoken to their soul and called them back to you. If you feel a stirring as these words meet your ears, it is because your spirit recognizes the truth. Deep down, you have felt it too, that soft, unshakable knowing that this was never over in the eyes of heaven. You may not see the evidence yet, but faith was never built on sight alone. Faith is the quiet trust that even in the silence, God is speaking. Even in the distance, God is moving. Beloved, do not measure their journey by human timelines. Measure it by the God who is outside of time, right now. They are in a place where God's voice is becoming clearer than every other voice. The noise of the world that pulled them away, the distractions that once felt so urgent, are losing their hold. God is speaking to them in ways you cannot see, through dreams, through sudden moments of stillness, through the ache of something missing they cannot explain. And all of it is pointing them home. This home is not simply a physical space. It is the safety of your prayers. It is the peace of your presence. It is the sacred bond that God Himself authored. You have been the one who kept the lamp burning. Even when you thought it was over, your prayers kept the light alive. And heaven saw that. Beloved, your faith has been the bridge between the then and the now. Your tears have been seeds in the ground. And now the season is changing. You will not have to chase them. You will not have to beg for their attention. God's call is louder than your words could ever be. And when they return, they will not come with half a heart. They will come with a spirit that knows the cost of leaving and the blessing of being called home. If your heart feels this message deeply, I invite you to stay connected to this peaceful space. Subscribe so these words of hope can keep finding you in the exact moment you need them. Leave your reflection or prayer request below so we can lift each other in love. And if this message has blessed you, consider supporting through a super thanks, not for me, but so this light can continue reaching souls who are waiting in the dark for God's whisper. Because, beloved, the journey isn't over, and the pages ahead will hold more beauty than the ones behind. Even now, I see it in the Spirit, the way God is softening their heart, removing the pride, the fear, the lies they believed, and replacing them with truth, courage, and a holy clarity. When they look at you again, they will see not just the person they once knew, but the person God has been shaping you to be in their absence. They will recognize the prayers that have been carrying them, even when they didn't know they were being carried. Beloved soul, this is not just a reunion of two people. It is a testimony of God's faithfulness. It is proof that what God joins together, no force can truly separate. Hold your peace. Guard your hope. Trust the one who holds the pen to your story, because the next chapter begins with the sound of footsteps returning home. And when it does, you will know that heaven's timing is always perfect. Beloved soul, there is something you must understand about the way God works in the lives of His children. When He allows someone to leave, it is never without purpose. We see the loss. He sees the lesson. We see the breaking. He sees the building. We see the door closing. He sees the road curving toward a better view. You may still remember the moment they left, a look in their eyes, the sound of their voice, the way the air felt heavier after they were gone. And for a long time you may have thought that was the moment the story ended. But in heaven's book, that moment was simply a pause, a holy comma, not a period. Beloved, God's call is not like the voice of people. It doesn't fade with time. It doesn't lose power with distance. It carries across miles. It echoes through the chambers of a wandering heart. And it always finds its mark right now. There's a quiet work happening in them, a breaking down of walls they built to keep themselves safe. Walls that also kept you out. God is dismantling every barrier, not because He is punishing them, but because He is preparing them for the love they once walked away from. You may have wondered, if they truly cared, why did they leave? Why did they choose silence over speaking the truth? Why did they choose absence over presence? Beloved, it was not because your worth was lacking. It was because their readiness was lacking. The soil of their heart was not yet soft enough to receive the seeds God wanted to plant. Sometimes God lets people feel the cold before they appreciate the warmth. Sometimes He lets them taste emptiness before they value fullness. And right now, that emptiness is speaking louder than any argument could. They are remembering moments with you that they once took for granted. The sound of your laughter, the way you prayed for them without them asking, the safety they felt in your presence that they could not find anywhere else. These memories are not accidents. They are reminders sent by heaven, little glimpses of what God is calling them back to. And even if they try to ignore it, the pull toward you grows stronger with each passing day. Beloved soul, this is the beauty of God's timing. He doesn't just bring people back. He brings them back ready to love with truth, ready to speak without fear, ready to stand where they once ran. That readiness takes time. It takes encounters with God in the quiet. It takes moments of honest reflection that strip away pride. It takes learning, often through pain, that leaving didn't solve the ache in their heart. It only deepened it. You may feel like you have been in a long season of waiting, but God has been working on both of you in ways you could never see while you've been healing from the wound of their absence. They've been healing from the blindness that caused them to leave, while you've been learning to trust God with your future. They've been learning that their future is empty without what God has written into it, and that includes you. Beloved, I know there is a temptation to think, what if they never come back? What if this hope I feel is only my imagination? But hope, when it is born in the Spirit, is not wishful thinking. It is the echo of God's own promise resonating inside you. You feel it because He placed it there. And He placed it there because He intends to fulfill it. This is why you must not lose heart now. You are closer to the turning point than you think. In the Spirit, I see them taking small steps toward you already. A softening in their thoughts, a new openness to the idea of reconciliation, a willingness to revisit the places in their heart they once shut off. And as they move, God moves. As they turn, heaven guides. Beloved soul, your role in this moment is not to chase, it is to prepare. Prepare your heart to receive what you prayed for. Prepare your spirit to welcome them without holding on to past wounds. Prepare your home, your life, and your faith for the answer to your prayer to walk through the door. Because when they return, it will not be like before. This time, the foundation will be different. This time, the love will be rooted in God's truth, not just human desire. This time, the connection will be guarded by prayer, not just by feeling. And this is why the waiting matters. Because the waiting is not wasted. It is shaping you into the one who will be ready when they knock. If these words are ministering to you, beloved, I invite you to stay connected to this safe, sacred space. Subscribe so you don't miss the next time heaven whispers through a message like this. Share your reflections or prayer requests below, not just so I can read them, but so we as a family of faith can stand with you in prayer. And if this word has blessed your spirit, consider offering us super thanks. It helps keep these messages flowing, so they can reach hearts who need them most. Hearts that might be one whisper away from trusting God again. Because every time this message is shared, every time it is heard, someone's faith is restored, someone's hope is rekindled, and someone's story is rewritten by the hand of God. Beloved, there is one more thing you need to hear. When God calls someone home to you, it is not just for your joy. It is also for their redemption. They may carry guilt for how they left. They may carry shame for what they chose. But your forgiveness will be the open door God uses to heal them. So when that day comes, when you see them standing before you again, do not let bitterness speak. Let grace speak. Let your words be seasoned with the same mercy that God poured out on you, because in that moment, you will not just be welcoming them back into your life. You will be welcoming them back into alignment with God's will. And that, beloved soul, is more powerful than you realize. For now, rest in this truth. They may have left, but they are not lost. God has their steps. God has your heart, and heaven has already decided. This story will not end in separation, beloved soul. You have walked through a long season where the nights felt heavier than the days. The moments of quiet were sometimes the most painful, because in that stillness, you could hear the echo of their absence. And yet, you are still here. Your heart is still beating. Your faith, though it has been tested, is still alive. Do you know why? Because God has been holding you. Even when you felt like you were slipping. Even when you questioned if your prayers were working. Even when the ache was so deep you could barely speak it. He was carrying you. And while he was holding you, he was also reaching for them. There is something deeply beautiful about God's ability to work in two lives at once. You in one place, them in another. And yet his hand touching both in perfect harmony. The one who left, the one who thought their choice was final, has been feeling the weight of God's gentle pursuit. Sometimes it comes as a memory that catches them off guard. Sometimes it comes as a conversation that reminds them of you. Sometimes it comes as an unshakable feeling that they walked away from something holy. Beloved, they are beginning to see what they could not see before. They are recognizing that the peace they once felt with you was not just comfort. It was the presence of God. And no matter where they go, they cannot recreate that without you. The world may have offered them distractions, temporary joys, 1,000 other paths to walk, but none of it could fill the place God designed for you in their life. They are learning now that leaving did not remove the bond. It only made the truth more clear. Beloved soul, when they come home, it will not be out of convenience. It will be out of conviction. Because the Spirit of God has shown them that this love was not an accident. It was an assignment. You will see it in their eyes when they return, not the uncertainty they had before, but a steady, quiet resolve, a knowing that they are standing exactly where God wants them to be. They may even tell you about the nights they couldn't sleep, the prayers they whispered in secret, the moments when God showed them glimpses of the life they could have if they simply obeyed His call. And beloved, they will obey, because the weight of God's voice is heavier than their fear. This is why you have been called to prepare your heart, because the blessing is coming. And when it arrives, it will carry the fragrance of God's faithfulness. Do not be afraid to receive them with love. Yes, they left. Yes, there were wounds. But the one who is bringing them back has also been healing those wounds. In you and in them. Your reunion will not be built on the same fragile foundation. It will be rooted in prayer, anchored in truth, and covered by grace. This is the miracle of restoration. It doesn't just return what was lost, it returns it better than before. Beloved, I see you in the Spirit, holding the moment in your heart, wondering what it will feel like to finally see them again. And heaven's answer is this: it will feel like peace. It will feel like the weight you've been carrying is lifted. It will feel like coming home for both of you. In that moment, you will understand why the waiting was so long. You will see that God was protecting you from receiving them before they were ready. You will thank Him for every delay, because each one brought them closer to being the person you prayed for. And when they are in your arms again, you will realize something else. God was never just bringing them back to you. He was also bringing them back to Himself. Beloved soul, this is why your story matters. Because it is not just your testimony. It will be theirs too. And through both of you, others will see that no distance, no silence, no choice is too great for God to redeem. If your heart feels this truth, if you can sense the nearness of what God is doing, I invite you to remain in this peaceful space. Subscribe so you can continue to receive words that meet you exactly where you are. Leave your prayer requests and reflections below so we can cover each other in faith. And if this message has touched you deeply, consider offering a super thanks so that this light can reach other hearts who are waiting for the same kind of hope you are holding now. Every act of support helps keep this river of peace flowing. And beloved, there are so many thirsty souls in need of this living water. As we close this moment together, I want you to breathe in this truth. They may have left, but they are not gone. God has called them home to you. And when heaven calls, the heart cannot resist forever. It may be soon. It may be later than you expected, but it will happen in the perfect hour. And when it does, you will not just see a person coming back. You will see the faithfulness of God walking toward you, step by step, until the distance between you is gone. Beloved soul, hold on to your peace. Guard your hope. Trust His timing, because the next chapter is already being written, and its title is simple: They Returned. Beloved soul, sometimes the hardest part of this journey is not the moment they leave, but the days, weeks, and months after, when life continues, but you feel as though part of you has been left behind. You go through the motions. You smile when you're expected to. You tell yourself you're moving on. And yet, deep in the quiet places of your spirit, there is still a space only they can fill. The world might call it longing, but heaven calls it divine connection, because what God authors is not so easily erased. When He knits two lives together, the thread is not broken by distance or silence. It simply stretches through the seasons until His appointed time. Beloved, you may have thought their absence meant the end, but God says, absence is sometimes the soil where reunion grows. You have been planted in this season, not abandoned. And in this planting, you have been changing. The tears you cried in the night have watered seeds of patience, compassion, and strength you didn't know you had. Your prayers have been like steady drops of rain over a seed, buried deep in their heart, even when you saw no movement. Heaven saw roots forming. And now, in the spirit, I can sense the stirring beneath the surface. Like the first tremor before a seed breaks open. Like the moment just before dawn when the sky begins to shift. Something is moving. Beloved soul, they have been hearing whispers of home. Not a location, not just a familiar place. But you, the heart that loved them without conditions. The one who prayed for them when no one else knew how. The one who stood in the gap between their weakness and God's mercy. God has been speaking to them in ways that are impossible to ignore. A song that reminds them of you. A place they visit that feels strangely empty without you. A dream so vivid they wake up with your name on their lips, and though they may not yet have spoken it aloud, they are beginning to understand that leaving you was not freedom, it was loss. Beloved, this is not to shame them. It is to show you that God's ways are higher than ours, because sometimes the only way for someone to see the value of what they had is to experience life without it. They thought they could fill the space you left with new faces, new plans, new desires. But the soul cannot be tricked. It knows when it is missing the one God designed to walk beside it. That is why, even if they resist, the call back to you will grow stronger. Because it is not just memory that draws them. It is God's hand. And when God calls, the heart eventually answers. Beloved soul, I know you may feel weary. You may be tired of hoping. Tired of telling yourself to stay strong when you feel like crumbling. But I promise you, the weariness will be worth it. When you see the fulfillment, there will be a moment when every unanswered question in your heart will make sense. A moment when every tear you cried will feel like an offering that God has gathered in His hands. And in that moment, you will realize it was not just about them coming back to you. It was about God bringing both of you closer to Him. Beloved, I want to tell you something tender, something you may not have considered. When they return, they will also carry their own wounds. Wounds from mistakes they made. Wounds from paths that led them into empty places. Wounds from realizing too late what they had walked away from. Your love, your forgiveness, will be the vessel God uses to begin their healing. This is why your preparation matters so much, because the way you receive them can either reopen old wounds or seal them with grace. The enemy would want you to meet them with bitterness, to remind them of their leaving, to make them pay for the pain. But beloved, you are not called to mirror the world's way of love. You are called to mirror Christ's, and Christ's love receives the prodigal with open arms, covers the past with mercy, rejoices not over the leaving, but over the returning. When they come home, you will have a choice: to hold them at a distance, or to let them feel the safety of your embrace. To rehearse their failures, or to speak life into their future. And I believe, by the time God sends them to your door, you will choose love. Not because you have forgotten the pain, but because love has healed it. Beloved soul, if these words are settling deep in your spirit, I encourage you to keep walking with me on this journey. Subscribe, so that this gentle voice of hope can continue to find you when you need it most. Share your reflections or prayer requests below, not just for me, but so we as a family of faith can lift each other up. And if this message has poured life into your heart, consider offering a super thanks. Every gift helps keep this light burning and allows it to reach others who are sitting in the dark, waiting for a word from heaven, because there are many hearts like yours, and they need to know they are not alone. Beloved, I want to leave you with this. Even as you listen now, God is arranging the moment of return. It may be a conversation that changes everything. It may be a sudden clarity in their heart. It may be an encounter that reminds them of who they are in Him. Whatever the path, it will lead them home, and when they come, it will not be too soon or too late. It will be exactly in God's perfect time. So hold on. Rest in His promise. And keep your heart ready. Because the sound of footsteps is coming. And when they reach you, it will feel like heaven has kept every word it ever whispered to your soul, beloved soul. There is a truth you must let settle deeply into your heart today. God's call is not like the call of man. It does not fade over time. It does not get lost in the noise. It does not reach one ear and miss the other. When God calls, it reaches the Spirit. And when the Spirit hears, it will eventually respond, no matter how far it has wandered. This is what is happening now in the one who left you. They are hearing the voice of the shepherd. They may not fully understand it yet. They may not even admit it to themselves. But their soul knows the sound. The pull they feel toward you is not just emotion. It is not just nostalgia. It is the tug of divine alignment, the drawing of the heart back to the place God always meant it to rest. You see, beloved, sometimes people leave because they believe something is missing. They think there is more out there. They chase answers in other places, other people, other paths. But when God is the one who joined you, every road they take without you will feel incomplete. It may have taken them days, months, or even years to realize this. But the moment of realization is here. They are waking up to the truth that the safety they once felt with you was not ordinary. It was not humanly manufactured. It was the peace of God flowing through your love. And once a soul tastes that kind of peace, nothing else will satisfy. Beloved soul, while they have been searching, you have been waiting. But your waiting has not been passive. You have been learning. You have been growing. You have been deepening your trust in the one who holds your story. The wounds you carried after they left have become places where God's light shines through. Your prayers, whispered through tears, have become the very rope heaven is using to pull them back. Even now, there are prayers you prayed long ago that are blooming in this moment. Prayers they never heard. But God did, and because He heard, He is answering. This is why you must not lose heart in the final stretch. Yes, it has been long. Yes, it has been lonely. Yes, it has been tempting to give up. But beloved, the harvest comes after the waiting. And you are standing at the edge of your harvest. In the Spirit, I see them drawing nearer. The distance is shrinking, not just physically, but in their heart. Walls that once stood tall are crumbling. Fear is loosening its grip. Pride is melting in the presence of God's voice. They are being prepared to return, not as the same person who left, but as someone renewed, someone humbled by the journey, someone ready to love in truth. And when they stand before you again, you will see the fingerprints of God all over them. In their words, in their eyes, in the way they choose to stay. Beloved soul, you will not need to force anything. You will not need to wonder if they mean it this time. The assurance will be there, not because of their promises, but because of the peace in your spirit. That peace will say, this is it. This is the moment you prayed for. When that day comes, I pray you will meet it with grace. Grace that does not ignore the past, but chooses to forgive it. Grace that receives them with the same mercy Christ has shown you, because this love is not just about you and them. It is a living testimony of God's ability to restore what seemed beyond repair. If your spirit feels the truth of this, I invite you to stay connected in this peaceful space. Subscribe so you can keep receiving these gentle reminders exactly when you need them. Share your prayer requests or reflections below so we can stand with you in faith. And if this message has blessed you, consider offering us super thanks. Every act of support helps this message travel to more weary hearts who are waiting for God to whisper hope again. Because, beloved, this is bigger than one story. It is about what God is doing in the hearts of countless others who think their chapter is over when heaven is only turning the page. Even now, I sense the atmosphere around you shifting. The heaviness is beginning to lift. Your hope is being renewed. Your faith is catching fresh wind. This is not wishful thinking. It is the Spirit preparing you for fulfillment. So keep your heart open. Keep your spirit listening, because the one who began this work will complete it. And soon, you will hear the sound of homecoming, not in a dream, not in your imagination, but in reality, in the moment when the distance is gone and love stands before you again. Beloved soul, the God who called them away to heal them is the same God calling them back to bless you. And when God calls, the heart will answer. My dear heart, if you are still listening at this moment, it means your soul is searching for an answer that words alone cannot fully hold. It means your spirit is reaching for the one who is holding all the pieces of your story together. And I feel heaven's whisper surrounding you right now. They are saying, the ending you feared was permanent is already being rewritten in the unseen. You see, there are moments in life where God allows a separation, not to punish, not to abandon, but to prepare both hearts for the depth of love that cannot be built in haste. When they left, you thought the door had closed for good. You told yourself, it's over. It's not mine anymore. But God looked at that same moment and said, this is not an ending, this is a planting. A seed was placed in the soil of time, a seed of understanding, a seed of humility, a seed of love that would no longer be bound by pride or fear. And though that seed was hidden beneath the surface, invisible to your eyes, it was not silent to heaven. God was watering it with divine timing. He was guarding it with the hand that neither slumbers nor sleeps. He was whispering to their spirit in the quiet hours, reminding them of the way your love felt like home. They could try to forget, they could fill their days with noise, but the heart knows when it has been touched by something holy. It cannot unknow it. It cannot erase it. It can only circle back to it when the time is right. And that is why, my dear one, heaven is revealing to you today. They are coming home. Not just home to you in the earthly sense, home to the truth. They once tried to run from. Home to the love that has been kept in God's hands. Home to the part of themselves they lost when they walked away. Do you understand? This is more than a reunion. It is a redemption. It is the mending of something that, for a time, the enemy tried to tear apart. But the enemy has no final word here. Only God does. And his word over this connection is restoration. Yes, there will be healing conversations. Yes, there will be moments where you will both face the ache of what was lost, but there will also be the joy of seeing how much has grown in the waiting. The laughter will be sweeter, the love will be deeper, the gratitude will be unshakable, because this time you will both know you are not holding something fragile that could break at any moment. You are holding something God himself has called back into your life, and what he calls home. He sustains. If your heart feels this truth settling into your spirit like a gentle rain, I want to invite you to keep walking with me here. Subscribe so you can hear more of these peaceful words. When your heart needs them most, share your prayer requests or your reflections in the comments, because I believe there is power in lifting one another up in faith. And if this message has touched you in a way that makes you want to help it reach other hearts, you can bless this work with a super thanks. Every bit of support is a way of helping God's word flow to the ones who are barely holding on, and for that, I am truly grateful. Now, let's go a little deeper. I want you to see something in this moment. When they come home, they will not be the same as they were when they left. They will come with eyes that have seen what life is like without this love. They will come with a heart that understands the weight of losing something sacred. They will come with a spirit that has been softened by God's patient work. They will look at you and see not just a person, but the place where their soul breathes again. And you, dear one, will also not be the same. You have learned to stand in the quiet. You have learned to trust when there was no visible sign. You have learned that even when people walk away, God never leaves, and because of that, You will love them from a place that is free from fear, not clinging, not doubting, resting in the peace that this time you are both being held by something greater than yourselves. And so, when the day comes, whether soon or in the still unfolding path of God's timing, you will both stand in a moment that will feel almost like a dream, but you will know it is real, because the peace in your chest will tell you so. And the gratitude in your prayers will confirm it. You will look back at the season of waiting and understand why it had to be, and you will say quietly, perhaps only to God, "You truly do make all things beautiful in your time." If you are feeling that hope spark within you, nurture it. Speak life over it. Thank God for what is already in motion, even if you cannot yet see it. And remember, my dear one, when God calls someone home to you, it is because there is a purpose for you to walk together again, not just for love's sake, but for the sake of the kingdom. For together, your light will shine brighter than it ever could alone. And heaven rejoices at that. So, rest tonight knowing the story is not over. Chapter is still being written. And love, the kind that God ordains, is already on its way back to you. Beloved soul, I want you to breathe for a moment and let this truth settle deep into the chambers of your heart. They left. Yes, and it hurt more than words could capture, but God has been writing an unseen story all this time, even when you could not see the way forward, even when their absence felt permanent, even when your prayers seemed to echo into nothing. God was moving. Do you feel that gentle nudge in your spirit right now? That quiet, almost imperceptible reassurance. It is heaven leaning close, saying, "Do not despair. I have not forgotten you. I have not forgotten them. I am orchestrating their return." Beloved, there's a sacred rhythm to God's timing. It is not hurried. It is not abrupt. It is deliberate, tender, and exact. They may have wandered in the world. They may have chased dreams, comfort, or distractions. They may have tried to silence the memory of you in their heart. But the Spirit of God cannot be silenced. Every heartbeat, every whispered prayer, every longing moment they carried, God has been turning it toward you. Every detour has been preparation. Every delay has been a softening of the spirit. Every absence has been a clearing of the way for something holy. Beloved soul, it is not just about their return. It is about their return in truth. It is about their return in alignment with God's perfect will. It is about the reunion carrying the blessing of redemption. The one who left is beginning to see what they could not see before. They are beginning to remember the safety they felt in your presence, the peace they felt when they were close to you, the prayers you offered on their behalf. All of it is resurfacing. All of it is reminding them of what cannot be replaced. And as heaven nudges them closer, I want you to understand something crucial. You are not waiting in vain. Every tear you cried, every moment of longing, every prayer whispered when no one was listening, has been seen by God. It has been recorded in His perfect memory. It has been used as the very rope to guide them back. Beloved, you may feel impatient. You may feel weary. You may even question if it will ever happen. But faith is not measured by time. Faith is measured by trust, by the quiet assurance that what God promises will come to pass, no matter how long the road may seem. And this is why your role is sacred. Not to chase, not to plead, not to force the timing, but to prepare your heart, to keep your spirit pure, to remain anchored in God's peace, so that when they return, you will meet them with a love that reflects the God who never left. Either of you, beloved soul, they will not come back exactly the same. They will come back changed, humbled, softened, awakened to the truth of what they tried to ignore. And when they stand before you, you will recognize the divine fingerprints on their transformation, the work of God evident in their eyes, in their words, in their spirit. This is the beauty of a God-ordained return. It is not just reconciliation. It is restoration. It is healing. It is the completion of a chapter that never truly ended. Only paused. Beloved, I want you to imagine that moment, the moment when you see them approach with clarity and purpose in their heart. No hesitation, no doubt, no fear, just truth, just love, just the recognition of what was always meant to be. And as you feel that truth, let it wash over every fear, every wound, every lingering doubt. Let it remind you that you were never abandoned. Let it remind you that the God who held your heart while they were gone is the same God guiding their steps back to you. Now, beloved soul, I invite you, as always, to continue walking in this space of sacred truth. Subscribe to stay connected to these gentle guiding messages that meet your spirit exactly where it is. Share your reflections or prayer requests in the comments so we can lift each other up in faithful support. And if this message has blessed you, consider offering a super thanks, not as obligation, but as a way to keep this light flowing to those whose hearts are waiting for hope and reassurance. Because, beloved, there are many hearts like yours, many souls waiting to hear that God's timing is perfect, many spirits needing to know that someone who left can indeed return, if heaven wills it. And it is by your continued faith, your patience, your prayers, that God moves. So hold on. Do not let fear dictate your hope. Do not let impatience silence your trust. Do not let the shadows convince you that the story is over, because it is not. Every moment of waiting, every prayer of faith, every tear shed in silence, is weaving the tapestry of their return, beloved soul. When they finally come back, it will feel as if heaven itself is walking beside you. The reunion will be tender. The love will be profound. The peace will be undeniable. And in that moment, you will understand why every season of waiting was necessary. Why every moment apart prepared both of your hearts. Why God's timing was perfect. Beloved, hold fast to this promise. Keep your heart tender. Keep your prayers alive. Keep your spirit anchored in trust, because the footsteps are coming. And when they arrive, they will arrive guided by God Himself, returning not just to you, but to the sacred alignment heaven intended all along. Beloved soul, if you are listening to this, it means your heart is ready to receive a deeper layer of understanding, that you have walked through seasons of silence, of absence, of longing. And yet here you are, still breathing, still hoping, still trusting that God's promises are true. Do not underestimate the power of that steadfastness. Even when your spirit felt weary, your faith has been a quiet, persistent light. A light that has guided their steps even when they did not know it. Beloved, the one who left is walking a path that has been preparing them to return. They are learning things they could not have understood if they had stayed. They are encountering moments that soften their heart. They are recognizing emptiness that only your presence once filled. God is orchestrating every detail, every experience, every encounter, every quiet whisper of conviction. It is all moving them back toward you. You may feel impatient. You may wonder if it will ever happen. You may ask yourself, what if they never come? But beloved soul, do not let your heart be shaken by what you see in the natural. God works beyond what the eyes can perceive. He moves where no human force can intervene. He draws hearts together in ways only heaven understands. Even now, their spirit is turning. Even now, the seeds of return that God planted are beginning to sprout. Even now, the pull toward you, toward what was always meant to be, is growing stronger. Beloved, there is something sacred about waiting in hope. That waiting is not passive. It is a holy preparation. It is a refining of your faith. It is a strengthening of your heart so that when the moment comes you are ready. Because the love that God brings back is never the same as before. It is deeper. It is wiser. It is purified by His hands. When they return, they will come with humility, with clarity, with a spirit awakened to the truth of what God has always intended, and you, beloved soul, will receive them with grace, with understanding, with a heart that has been healed and refined through the waiting. Now, as you sit with these words, I want you to know something very important. The story of their return is not just about reconciliation. It is about restoration. It is about both of you being aligned with God's perfect will. It is about seeing the faithfulness of heaven unfold before your eyes, even if it has been long, even if it has been difficult. Every step has mattered. Every tear has mattered. Every prayer has mattered, beloved. I want to remind you, gently, to continue to nurture your spirit. Subscribe so that these peaceful, spirit-filled messages continue to meet you exactly where you are. Leave your reflections and prayer requests below so that this sacred space can hold you in support and love. And if this message has blessed you, consider offering a super thanks, not as obligation, but as a way to help more souls hear the hope of heaven and the truth of God's timing. Because there are many hearts like yours, many who are waiting for the same reassurance, many who need to know that love lost is not necessarily love gone forever. Beloved soul, I see you in the spirit. I see the way you have been standing, strong in faith, even when your heart ached. I see the prayers you whispered in the night, asking God to return the one who left. I see the moments when you held on to hope, even when it felt impossible, and heaven is saying, your faith is not in vain. Your hope is not misplaced. The one who left will return in God's perfect timing. Beloved, when they arrive, you will not just be seeing a person come back into your life. You will be seeing the proof of God's faithfulness. You will be witnessing His timing, His mercy, and His love in motion. It will be a sacred moment, a holy alignment of hearts, a gentle confirmation that God's plans are perfect, and in that moment, you will understand. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of waiting was preparing both of you for this return. Beloved soul, keep your heart tender. Keep your spirit listening. Keep your faith alive, because God is still working. Because the call back to you is growing stronger. Because heaven rejoices in every step they take toward you. And when the day comes, it will feel like every part of your soul has been waiting for this one heartbeat, this one touch, this one moment. Beloved, do not rush the timing. Do not try to force the path. Do not let fear or doubt cloud the peace God has given you, because the moment of their return will be exactly right. It will be gentle. It will be holy. It will be filled with the quiet assurance that this is the hand of God guiding both your hearts together. And when it happens, you will stand in awe. You will understand why the waiting was necessary. You will see that God's love is always patient, always faithful, always perfect. Beloved, I want to leave you with this final thought for today. Even if you cannot see them yet, even if the days seem long, even if your heart still aches, God has already set the steps in motion. He has already been guiding them back to you. And nothing in heaven or earth can stop what He has ordained. So hold on to hope. Rest in His peace. Keep your heart open. And know, with absolute certainty, that the one who left is being called home, to you, to love, and to the purpose God has planned from the very beginning.